Welcome to the Sales Influence Podcast, where we talk about finding the why in how people buy. I'm your host, Victor Antonio. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for lending me your ears. Today, I want to talk about how do we extract more information from our prospects in order to sell to them more effectively. In other words, how do we get information from them so we can actually sell to them more effectively? I'm going to give you 3 strategies and a structure, purpose on how you can do that. But before I jump into it, I want to remind you, we've partnered with Pipedrive. Now, Pipedrive is the first CRM platform made for salespeople by salespeople. There are 4 things that Pipedrive offers, and they do extremely well to help you grow your business. First, manage leads and deals by getting your leads fed right into your sales pipeline around the clock from your custom chatbot or web forms. 2, you can track calls, emails, contact history in order to have full customer visibility and control your schedule. Also, automate and grow. What does that mean? Eliminate the busy work by automating repetitive administrative tasks, and it learns from artificial intelligence. Insights and reports can also be generated so you can do some deep dives into metrics customized for your business and, most importantly, measure company performance against your set goals. It's also worth noting that when it comes to privacy and security, you'll have full transparency on when and how your business data is being used. Lastly, you'll be able to access Pipedrive from your mobile device, and it also integrates with other sales-boosting apps, maybe your favorites, to give you 24-hour access to what's going on in your pipeline. So go to pipedrive.live/Victor Antonio, sign up and get an extended trial of 30 days free, plus 25% off the first 3 months by simply using the promo code Victor Antonio. Again, the link is pipedrive.live. Don't you like that? Pipedrive.live/Victor Antonio, promo code Victor Antonio. Now, let's jump into extracting information so we can sell more effectively to our prospects. Now, before we do that, we should always have an objective. What are we trying to get from the customer? Let's say we start with the value trinity. You know I love the value trinity. It's what I use to actually guide me in my conversation. Now, the value trinity says basically B2B customers especially are concerned about 3 things. How do I increase revenue? How do I reduce my costs, and how do I expand market share? That's what business leaders are thinking about. How do you increase revenue, reduce costs, or expand market share? So keep in mind that the questions you're asking, and I'm going to give you 3 strategies for extracting more information, and the information we want to extract is how our product or service can help them increase revenue, reduce costs, or expand market share. Strategy number 1 for extracting information. We're going to use elaboration questions. Questions that help the customer elaborate or forces them to elaborate. Now, you've probably used some of these questions. For example, customers talking and they stop talking. All you have to do is say, well, tell me more about that. Just simply tell me more and just go quiet and watch how they'll start talking and giving you more. How about this one? How did that work out? The customer tells you something, you say, well, how did that work out? And then you can tie that in. Well, tell me more. How did that work out? Or, what would you do differently? Customer tells you something. You say, well, what would you do differently? Let's say they're talking about implementing a new system and how long it took. I said, what would you do differently? How about this? If you had to do it over again, what would you do differently? Again, what you're trying to do is get the customer to talk. Here's a very subtle one, very simple, but you got to be brave to use it. Please continue. Customers talking? Said, no, please continue. This is fascinating. Please continue. How about this one? What did you do next? Oh, I love asking that question. Customer says, here's what's happened. We tried to do this, we implemented that, and here's what we did. What did you do next? Or a variation. Well, what happened next? Or what did you think? Or how about this one? When they said that, what did you say? Notice that all these questions are aimed at keeping the customer talking, giving you more information so you can, again, find some of that information, use that information to sell more effectively to the customer. How about this one? Strategy number 2. This one I learned years ago, and it works. It was based on a study, and I don't have the source/reference, but just hearing it, you'll know why it works. When a customer finishes making a statement, you just look at them, don't say a word, and you just nod in the affirmative, like up and down. You just nod. And studies have shown that when you just don't say anything and you nod, one, you're giving the other person permission to continue, like please continue. And in the end, you'll wind up getting 25% more information by simply using that strategy. And all it takes is for you to nod and be quiet. That's hard for a lot of salespeople. A lot of salespeople want to fill that quiet, that pause, that dead space. Don't fill it. When the customer stops, discipline yourself to be okay with that silence for that moment and just nod your head. Did you hear that silence? That was silence right there, right? Because that's what you have to do. Just give them silence and just nod your head and watch how they'll keep talking. Strategy number 3, one of my favorite strategies. This one works. I call it verbal gifting. Verbal gifting is when you share something from your perspective and then ask the customer to share something from their perspective. So, for example, let's say you have a situation where there's a lot of options. You tell the customer your story. You said, you know, when I find myself in a situation when I have a lot of options, I usually like to do the Ben Franklin approach, right? Pros and cons. How do you handle it when you have a lot of options? Now, you see what I just did there? I told the customer how I handle things when I have a lot of options. I could have said, Mr. Customer, when I have a lot of options, the first thing I do is prioritize what's important from 1 to 10. And then I weight each of them independently. And then from there, I can kind of figure out what's the right move. How do you do it when you have a lot of options? Now, what am I aiming at? Mr. Customer, in other words, if I were to kind of, translate that, how do you decide when you got 3 vendors to choose from, which one do you go for? Which one do you go with? How do you what's the judging criteria? So again, verbal gifting is all about you give them your opinion how you would do something and then ask them for how would you do it? And you'd be amazed at how many people literally start talking. Now, 3 strategies, let me repeat them again, all aimed at increasing revenue, reducing costs, or expanding market share. That's the information we're trying to get. So the first strategy is elaboration questions. Tell me more about that. How did that work out for you? What would you do differently? Please continue. What did you say? What did you do? What did you think? These are questions that allow the customer to keep talking. Strategy number 2. Go silent when the customer stops talking, nod your head in the affirmative, giving the person an indication to please continue talking. Strategy number 3, if the customer is not talking, you verbally gift them with something that you have. In other words, your perspective, your opinion, and then ask them for their opinion in exchange. Why does that last one work? Because the rule of reciprocation, the law of reciprocation kicks in. If I gift you an opinion, if I give you information, you'll almost feel compelled to want to give me information. So if you want to extract more information from your prospects, remember these 3 simple strategies. They work. Try them out and let me know. And that is it for this Sales Influence podcast. Don't forget to leave me some feedback on iTunes, Stitcher, or YouTube. Let me know what you think. I'd greatly appreciate it. Also, check out my online sales training platform, the Sales Velocity Academy. Over 50 courses, 500 videos, 14 books. So if you're serious about increasing your sales velocity, go to salesvelocityacademy.com. That's salesvelocityacademy.com. Lastly, I want to thank you for listening. This is Victor Antonio, always reminding you, selling ain't hard when you know how. Take care.
Hi, I'm Victor Antonio. I'm an author, sales trainer, and keynote speaker. I'm often asked, what makes a great speaker? Is it someone who delivers real content that the audience can use? Is it someone who engages the audience so they're part of the learning experience? Or is it someone who can motivate an audience to push them beyond their comfort zone and discover new abilities? The answer is yes. But the most important thing to remember is that I'm not there to look good. I'm there to make my client look good. Simply put, it's never about me, and it's always about them.